Now we're on air. Okay. All right. So to start off let's just get a brief synopsis of the scenario. So I know the most significant issue that's facing the group is that they're stranded 60 miles from the nearest city with they have one of their friends, one of the people has a broken leg. And so what should be the first actions that must be taken before anything else is done?
My first thought was the duct tape, because you need to repair the boats and the fishing rods, I would think. Boats because so they could travel, and the fishing rods so they can, hopefully there's fish in the water.
Yeah, that's true. I really like that idea with the duct tape too, because of how useful it is for everything you need. And like I think of the fishing poles that said they were broken, so I don't know if they could use it to get more food. But like I was thinking more like the fishing poles could be used as like a what do you call those when you because when
a splint or something.
Yeah, a splint. Yeah, thank you, Travis.
Oh, thank you.
That's what I was thinking. It was probably most important to start with was probably trying to set that leg so that it doesn't get worse as you're moving around and stuff. But it's probably inevitable that it's going to get a little worse.
Mm-hmm.
I put matches as the most important because I figured we'd be there for several days, and I knew that if it was going to get cold and we were wet, we'd want to get dry and warm as quick as possible. And that's what I put first.
Yeah, I know for me and on my list, the top two things I prioritized for me were the map and the compass, because I don't know, for me, just you want to get out, I don't want to get lost. That's like the first thing. I don't want to like duct tape then followed right behind that and other items like that. But I don't know, just knowing where to go, I felt like was just for me the most important. So I guess what other key items do you feel like after we've taken those first few actions, like what would you say are your guys' top 5 items that you feel like that are the most essential out of the list that we have to have? Like
My first 5 items that I had listed were matches, the map of the region, the flotation devices, set of clothes, and then the fanny pack of food. I felt like the map was probably pretty close to top because it was the only way of knowing kind of where you were and keeping track of how to get back. It says the clothes are wet, but I'm sure you could find a way to dry them over the fire or something like that that would keep you a little more comfortable and a little more warm. And then obviously matches so that you could do that. And then the flotation devices is so you could probably make it so that you could get through water if you needed to without your boats, just by swimming, or maybe if you saw another boat or something like that. And then food, because of food. But that was my thought process on that.
So how are we going to write down everybody's thoughts and then make a decision, or on our group ranking, or how are we going to do this?
So the way we're going to do this is so right now we just giving a brief idea of we feel like what's the most important items, and then after we do that, that's when we're going to go through and really try to get that consensus of
Okay.
which ones we should feel like is first priority.
Okay.
And
My
then,
first, I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just saying, like, we're just given a brief idea of what we feel is the most important items. And then after we talk about that, then we're going to go through one at a time.
Okay.
Or,
Well, like I said, I thought the duct tape first because of repairing the boat, and especially if you wanted to have party or party go try to get help. But and again, the my second one was the fishing poles to try and prepare them because I don't know how strong fishing poles are would be for a splint, but that's a good point. But in case there was fish in the sea in the area, then they would have them hopefully fixed to get something. My third one was the food and to get it safe so that they will have a little bit of something to share. And in case it rains again, because it mentions that the weather's so unpredictable. And my fourth one was the clothes to get them out of the way and out of the rain to try and dry them since they already have wet clothes on and salvage what they can. And then my fifth one was to get the sleeping bags out of the weather and to a safe place in order to have a place to sleep. That was my first five anyway.
okay. Hey, welcome, Danny.
My five were I put the matches first because I knew it would be important to be able to get a fire. And then I put sleeping bags just to keep them warm throughout the night. The map was important for those three, so they knew where they were. Fanny pack was 4, and water purification tablets were 5 to make sure they have clean water and they're not getting dehydrated, and then they start going into panic and do anything for themselves. So those are my first 5. I was thinking a little bit more of just like waiting it out, trying to get saved. I didn't even think about fixing the boats and trying to search for or trying to go look for help. my
Yeah, I know what you mean, Sam, because, like, I didn't think of, like, it would look for help. I was thinking either they're going to have to, one, wait it out, or two, get to the city, which I don't know, because especially where they were stranded at, they're so far from anybody. Like, the closest city is like 60 miles, I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I felt like, I don't know, for me, my thought process, I was just thinking that getting to the city was their best bet because no one's going to come for the next couple of days anyways. But, like, for me, like, what I felt was most important was, like, the compass and the map, just because we don't want to get lost on trying to get to the city. And then from there, water purification tablets because water is vital. And then I went right after that, picked food, and then a sleeping bag. Then, like, those were like my essential things, just to keep warm and have get through it. I don't know, like, I guess thinking over it twice, I felt like maybe probably should have put duct tape higher and something for our friend for our broken leg. But I was thinking really pragmatic at the time. I was thinking trying to get I don't know, like I felt like the most essential parts first for survival, and then after that everything afterwards. But so what about you, Danny? Like, so right now we're talking about what we feel like are the most essential items that you would need. Or
So my first one, since I figured, I was stranded out in the wilderness with a headache, and I had all this stuff that I was able to take. That whiskey would be the first one to, like, any cuts or, like, if anyone needed it, just for, like, pain medication, like over the counter type stuff, and they'd have that. Everyone's not a member of the church, and some are, and to be ignorant of the law and go off and break, like, universal laws like we have in the church, that are set forth by God, like they can still uphold civil law, and then there's others that do just the opposite. So I mean, then I chose matches because I figured we need to boil like any type of like water or anything that we needed. So that's why I kind of discounted the pellets, which were on my side, um, were like the 13th. We're ranked 13th. So 3 and 4, I had a fishing pole and a sleeping bag because I probably needed like food. So that way, I need to cook. I have matches, sleeping bag. I kind of want to sleep comfortable, or I don't really know too much about the outdoors, so I wouldn't be able to actually make something. But I kind of do know a little bit, but not a lot. Fanny pack with food was right after that, just in case I didn't know how to fish or anything. And then like a yellow frisbee, so if there's other people with me, we'd be able to toss a frisbee, get a game going by the fire. We have matches, we have food, we have water, stuff to boil. 7, make the compass. I didn't think I was gonna start. This is where I started. Like, oh, I don't really need this. It's a compass. I'm like, we're hurt. We're not really gonna walk. So, like insect repellent wasn't really too much of a big deal. There's other stuff out there. Duct tape. I didn't really see any need for it since we weren't gonna go rafting with anybody. Like, that was my last one, 14th. So it was rafting. So 10 would have been a set of clothes. I don't know why it would say wet for just for 3 people. So I didn't want people to start arguing, fighting, and them needing to have to deal with any type of like. I didn't need someone to take the leadership role and deal with the conflict. Like if they had a council or something, then like the resolution of the conflict, it would come to if everyone came together. But it like I just don't think we needed wet clothes or anything like that. Plastic map again, with the compass being 7, I don't think we needed. I don't think we needed to go searching for help. I think people would come to us if we just stayed where we were. It's not like we're out there with a debt credit card. We can't be out there like waving it so they can come pick us up or anything. But, the fishing pole and the fire, like you cook like fish bones, you let them cook really good, and it's really good for you. I don't know. There's stuff like that. Like, 12 and 13, parachute and a water purification tablet, and then flotation devices. So those were mine.
All right. Yeah, I've noticed I guess a trend in what a couple people have said. Like some people have said like, when they thought about their items, they thought either we're gonna stick it out where we're at, or we're gonna try to go out and try to get help. So I think that's really interesting that I've noticed, and I know that's for sure affected like what our rankings were for what we were gonna do. So
how did what did mostly everyone else say? I know I was trying to get logged in. I had to install Google Chrome on both my desktop and my laptop didn't have it installed. So what did I miss? How did so what are we supposed to do with C, D, E, and F? Were those everyone else's rankings?
C is as a group we assign the rank for all the items together that we all agree on.
We done that already?
No, we haven't done that yet. We were just talking about what items we felt were most important for our survival, and then after we do Group C, I'm going to go through and list off what experts wrote as their numbers, and then we'll do our individual error so we take our ranking and subtract that from the expert ranking. Do the same for group error, and then and also at the end do the persuasion score to see what our rankings were different than our groups. We'll start off. We'll soon start with our group ranking. So Danny, you were mentioning. So you wanted to. So who would you like to hear about? I guess someone's felt key items that they felt was most important to them. Which one did you come in at?
Who's all here?
We got Travis, Jacqueline, and is that it?
And
Sam.
we also have Sam.
Probably, I don't know. It's a toss up, so I'll probably choose maybe Sam because I can't see him. I don't want to know if he's there.
So what do you want me to do again?
We just want you to go over and talk about the, I guess, your top 5 like essential items you felt like were key to our survival in the scenario.
Ooh, I don't know. 5 that I put, like I said, were the matches, sleeping bag, map, food and water purification tablets. I had a little bit, like I said, different thinking than you guys. I was more going into survival mode of how, I don't know how long we're going to be out here. So I want to be able to survive as long as we can rather than try and look for help. So I put the things that would help us more likely stay out there longer. And as I'm looking at it now, I probably should have put fishing tools a little bit higher. I put them at 9, but I think probably because I thought that they were broken. But I bet even if they were broken, you could still probably catch some fish with them. So that's one thing I probably would move up a little bit more if I were to do it again. But those are mine.
I wanted to say before we kind of got into it, we did this trip as a high adventure once, so I've been up in this area. One of the reasons why I put matches first and didn't have water purification in the top of the list was because when we were there, we boiled all our water. You're not allowed to carry. You can only carry in what you can carry out. So we didn't carry water at all with us. So we were just boiling the water from the lakes for our drinking, and that's how we did it. I don't like water purification tablets because if you don't do it right, then they're poisonous.
Oh.
Because it's just iodine. So it definitely works. Obviously, it works if you use it right. But that was one thing that I just wanted to mention is I don't know for sure exactly how long you have to wait, but it's quite a while, and I don't want to die because I was trying to purify my water that way. But obviously, it would work if we did it right. But boiling water does work, and it was okay for us. That's what we did for everything with our water. And then there is no way to get around on land, so you'd have to go through water. Most of the areas have a portage where you can walk over, but you're still on an island, so you're going to eventually have to go in water. And so without a boat, the holes in the boat seem pretty big. From rereading it, I didn't even really. I think I glanced over the numbers, but it's like like a 1.5 foot hole, and they're bent and all. I don't know if they're fixable. They might be, but I was like, ah. So the more I hear Sam talk about it, I think the more I'm like, yeah, it's probably best to wait it out. So that's my line of thinking. I feel like fire and stuff that'll help you kind of sit in place are probably a little more important in my book. Just from what I know about it. So
yeah, I definitely appreciate you mentioning that, Travis, because I didn't even think about that, especially I don't know, because when it mentioned how much land and water there was, like I thought there would be enough to walk around, but like especially where what you mentioned of how vital the boats would be. I can really see a strong argument for staying put. But like, I guess, is there even a way to even repair the boats? I guess would be a question that is worth asking, right? Is there even a way to us repair the boats? Like, because I know Jacqueline mentioned the duct tape, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess my one thing that was my concern, because they said they wouldn't even be known that they were missing because of their travel plans. To sit there, especially with someone with a broken leg, for that long time and not even attempt to try and get help. Seems like a long time to sit, because what they say, they're at least 5 days from their destination. They're going to, is that what they're not expected for another 5 days or something like that?
Yeah.
And with someone with a broken leg, I think that might be dangerous to not try to do something to get some help. And that's because even though they wouldn't be expected for 5 days, then it'd be another time to get a search party together to come back. And then they don't know where they're at because they took a detour. I don't know. I just felt it was kind of dangerous to wait that long, because it could be another 7 days before they'd find anybody or see anybody. And anyway, that's my kind of my thinking.
And there's no guarantee that anyone would ever find you. In my experience, when I was there, every campsite got filled by about noon or 2. So this is probably not what the thing is suggesting, but I think that if it's a busy time of year, I would actually assume there'd probably be a lot of people floating by that might be able to help, but I don't think that that's part of the thing. I think they're expecting you to be kind of on your own, alone.
Yeah,
for
that's
the
what I
most
read.
part. But there definitely is ways where you could probably get to one of the other campsites or another spot and find somebody. Then they could use their boat to go and get somebody. If you had the map, you could mark off kind of where you are, and then they could send somebody back or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. And I was reading through this, and it seems like you'd have to hold out 5 days, and that's when people will start searching for you. Like, that's a long time. Like, I know Jacqueline was saying with with the friend that we have here that has a broken leg. I don't know if that's really best choice to stick around, because like, even if you can repair like one boat for a couple people, because we have those flotation devices, right? Are they more
Yeah.
like floaties, or I guess I didn't really understand what that was, or were they just more like little rafts?
Personal
They
flotation.
were the vests. I think that's what they're called, is PFDs. That's what I figured it was.
Oh, I thought it was like a big raft, like just 1 6-person raft, and there was like 8 people. I figured, like how are we gonna leave 2 people behind or something? So I put that like there's no need.
Yeah, personal flotation devices. So that when it's personal, it sounds like this individual to me.
Okay, that's good to know, because I was hoping they were like little flotational rafts, because then you can use them not only when you're traveling on water, but like you can also use it as like shelter from rain. But
One thing I just thought about, I don't know if it would work, but when I took the canoeing merit badge, one of the things we had to learn was how to canoe while the canoe was underwater, if that makes any sense. We had to like fill the canoe with water and then get it to where we wanted it to go while it was full of water. If you had the flotation devices on, you may be able to row a little bit, just even if it was just enough to get somewhere better or get in between spots of land or something like that. But then you'd have to carry the boat across land too, because there are spots where you have to go over land to get to the next spot. So there's that too. But I think it might be possible to row the canoe. I don't know, maybe not with the person with the broken leg, but they're the ones that are ruining this. I think if you didn't have a broken leg, I think this would be a lot easier. But yeah, I think it might be possible, even if it was full of water, or if you could.
What do we want to happen? Do we want to be rescued, or do we want to like go actually seek help? Like, is it like
maybe we should think about moving? Is that kind of what we're leaning towards?
Well, I would think you'd send a couple people to go get the help while the others stayed back, because
How many people do we have?
5, 6.
Isn't that the worst thing though? To separate.
There's
And
6.
then you're gonna have a bunch of injured people in a campsite that can't fend for themselves. And then you're gonna have good people off, in danger, harm's way. But I don't know what's the reasoning behind that.
Say again?
Do you have a question?
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry. I couldn't quite catch everything you said.
Oh, if you're, oh, my bad. Go forward. Carry on.
No, I was just saying I didn't hear everything that you said, but not everybody was injured, but one main person. So there's total of 6 people, maybe send 2 to go get help while the others take care of the person with a broken leg and set up kind of a survival camp while they wait, instead of waiting 7 days before someone even might find them.
Yeah, I can see how that's a really good idea because it's just one person that's injured. So we're not leaving a bunch of people who, I know Danny mentioned, like, the worry about leaving people who can't, watch over themselves. But if you have one person who's injured and 2 people that have just bruises, because I think everyone's got bruises from the way I understood it from the accident in the rapids, but like having 2 people who are fine to be able to watch over one person, if you give them the food and water purification tablets. Because I think it's possible to reach your end destination, because you have to go 60 miles. Like an average person walk like 15 miles a day or something like that.
I think if you weren't carrying anything and it was just 2 of you, you could probably do a little more than that. But it depends on how much energy you have, if you have water and stuff like that. So it would probably take a couple days, especially since, like I was saying, you're gonna have to go over water and stuff like that too.
Well, it's interesting, Travis. You said that most of what you saw was water. They said here the terrain is 70% land and 30% water.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
I'm not sure how, like the percent, like I didn't keep percentages of land and water, but all I know is that the path that we took was, we were in canoes most of the time going around, like in a big circle. And so to get through from one lake to another, we had to portage over about a mile of land that we'd have to walk, and then we'd be in a different lake.
Yeah.
So it's big lakes broken up by big chunks of land, and I don't think that there was any spots where it was just continuous land long enough to get from one place to another. As far as I remember, it was all broken between stuff.
Okay. Yeah, it did say it was small patches of land here and there in between lakes and rivers. So that's probably what you're talking about with going from one lake to another. There's just small patches of land in between there.
Yeah, so
But if you don't have bear spray,
Pardon?
I mean, out in Yellowstone, out there in the Targhee, like when you go hiking, you're supposed to have bear spray that's like posted right there on the sign. Like when you get into the trail, like some of the trails are even like hard to locate. But they're there. They're like right by the river, and they have like directions on how to go hiking. They tell you like the area is full of bears. And the people that I've gone hiking with, they're kind of used to food.
Conversation. How are we going to decide?
So when they go hiking and like this tiny, when I went there, we kind of forgot like our 3 liters of water. And like we didn't have spray, and they were like, "Well, we don't know if you guys still want to go hiking because like there are bears out here and we have seen them, and it's like if we go, it's just at your own risk. But like we'll just make noise and stuff and keep an eye on them." and listen. And so it's like, I don't know if I want to actually go, because like if we don't even, we have the option for insect repellent, like I don't know, I don't feel safe, even moving. I would rather stay there and wait for help than get lost, because it doesn't say we actually have all these things at a compass. It's like we're not. It's okay if we have all this. It's like why are we even ranking it? Why don't we just just someone just get what they can and just go? But you see where I mean? Like if they do that, then like how do we know if he doesn't ever come back? How do we go find him? But like, I mean, I don't know if you guys ever read Shackleton's Way in the Antarctic. So they kind of did the same thing. There was two guys. They went into a water raft, and they were in the art, and they like paddled so many miles in the wind and the rain, and their skin stayed to the rose. And then they eventually made it to the land to where they were gonna go, and then they crossed the island, and then like it was just a really difficult travel. But I mean, it's like there's a book about it and there's a movie on YouTube. And I mean, it, if you if you want to be like a superhero, I'm not a superhero. I mean, you can go and try and save everybody, or just wait for the rescue party. I feel it's survival. I just don't see. I wouldn't leave personally. I wouldn't.
Okay. Well, I guess we're faced with the choice. I guess with the mindset of how we're gonna schedule. I guess prioritize these items is whether or not we're gonna just try to stick it out, which means we'll have to wait 6 days and then they're gonna start trying to find us, or we split up and have 3 people go and try to get there sooner to have people come get help. So, which isn't I guess a certainty. Like if it's a guarantee that those 3 people can get there in like 3 days, then on the 4th day they can come get them. Yeah, but of course there's that uncertainty. If those 3 people left, either got lost or they also got injured as well and didn't make it. Everyone.
Well, if you make like, I guess in that book they had everyone underneath a canoe, and then they had their bathroom. They had like a little tin can, and the last person to fill the tin can would have to go dump it. So I guess they would play jokes on each other, and they would leave it just so when the next person would come, it would get full right away, and he'd have to go dump it, and they'd have to go outside. But I mean, there's certain like safeguards that would need to get put in place beforehand. So I mean, I don't know if you know how you're coming at the situation, then I mean you can make a deal with the people and be like, okay, we're gonna go take off. It's gonna take X amount of time for us to get there. If the rescue party, we're gonna be gone this amount of time, and we have a day lead time. So I mean, if we're not able to make it back, then you guys let them know that we need to find you. So I mean, it's just like I said, stuff needs to get put in place, because like if they're out there, someone knows how they're gonna approach the situation like this, and they've been already prepared. So I mean, I don't know, maybe he would probably delegate the responsibility to someone else that isn't as hurt, but to be like, okay, go out there. But I just I mean, if I was hurt, if I wasn't too hurt, I probably still wouldn't go unless like they were forcing me to go. But still, at that, I don't think they would be too persuasive to let me, actually make that be on my own. So how do we decide? Like, are we have we started ranking this stuff as a group yet?
No, not yet. We've been talking about how we want to, I guess, what we want to do before we rank it, because I noticed that there was those 2 different parties of to stick it out and stay, or to go half the group go to get help. And I don't know, that's what I want to, I guess, make a quick vote on before I guess we make that decision, because that will radically change what the items we choose, in my opinion. Because if you choose to stay, then you're going to just choose things that allow you to stay put and not move anywhere, compared to the other choice where your first priority would be to get people going to get help. What do you guys feel like is the best choice of action? You guys want to vote on?
No, I may have missed something because I'm not sure where we went from two. I was thinking 2 people would be sent, not 3, because I guess maybe the canoes would handle 3, but at least a couple. But I still am very reluctant to have just people wait for 7 days before they might even have someone come back and get them when the person has a broken leg. That really makes me a little concerned to even attempt to wait it out, so to speak. But that's just a feeling I have, because someone has to do something. They're in a tough situation, and there is a plan that they follow to go to get back to camp. So I don't know. It'd be more likely that they would make it, but I'm just concerned about the person with the broken leg, because none of them are really experienced in studying that or fighting infection. I guess that's probably what the whiskey would be used for, is to prevent more infection if that occurred. But that was one of my thoughts too. But anyway, I'm open to suggestions.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know. I'm leaning a lot towards like a couple of the people, like either 2 or 3 people go to get help, because with the canoes, it's mentioned they have just 2 canoes for the 6 people, so we know for sure 3 people can be in one canoe. But like, I'm just bringing this up because I feel like this could affect our choices, and I just wanted us to have a consensus, agreed upon plan, that so as we go through the rankings, that we have the same idea of what we're trying to accomplish with items we're choosing.
So for like 3 days, then those 3 injured people are gonna eat the cheese and salami from the fanny pack. The
Well,
3 people go that are healthy. How are they gonna go get food or anything like that?
well,
That's
the
why
people,
it's such a small party. But
like the people who are staying there,
we'll probably need to stay with him. We can't just leave him alone in the sleeping bag and watch like my. But like I think I was probably thinking more just one person, not. So like anything that I said priority number 1 was for everyone. And I mean, I just don't see how whiskey isn't important, and how like a flotation device is important. So I just don't see the difference there. Like how are you going to risk 3 more lives when you already have 3 at danger? You're going to send them off on water in a raft that that could possibly pop. So and if it is only flotation vest devices, and you're going to send them out, like how do you what are they going to float on? Like they're going to make their own little raft, or like I just don't understand.
I think it might be possible to fix one of the canoes. I believe there was just one of the canoes that had a gash in it, that I feel like that one could be repaired. Then I know Jacqueline talked about it earlier. Yeah, with duct tape, or with what also Travis said. Yeah, like with duct tape, or use the flotation devices attached to the canoe to keep it afloat too.
What was that?
Because Travis mentioned as well, with the flotation devices, they're like life vests basically. So if you attach them to the side, if there's more water gets in it, it'll help keep it afloat. But
No, but what did you say?
oh, so So I was talking about with the canoe, like we can use the duct tape to at least repair one of them, and if it's
Dude,
not,
that's a duct tape. Like, how are you gonna try and fix a canoe with duct tape and put it in water? Like, where's your brain?
so like with one of the gashes, so there's a hole over on in the canoe. So basically, you just duct tape over the hole on both sides, and it should be able to at least keep most of the water from getting in.
So I wouldn't get in that thing if like you're gonna fix a canoe and try and send me out on it. Like, don't even try.
All right. Well, I guess would everyone would we like to I guess start on like going through our group ranking, see what we want to I guess rank the different items in
Sure.
priority. Okay. So what are people's thoughts of what would be the most important when it comes to as a group what we need?
It appears like we lost Sam. Sam. So my personal opinion is still the duct tape because it needs to repair some things like that. I'm still caught up on sending 2 people out and saving that one person because it's a traveled area. It has been a traveled area, but I know they're in trouble. But I'm still, for number one, I'm still stuck on duct tape.
Okay. I know for me, like, I don't know, the things that I felt like were most important was just where we go, like with the map or compass. But like, I can definitely agree with the importance of the duct tape. I definitely feel like that it's highly ranked up there in the top, up there in the top three.
What's that?
Yeah, even if you don't use it to fix the boats, you could use it to probably fix the fishing poles or make a shelter, something like that. I think it's another thing that I thought was important. It may not be just with the matches, but having fire of some sort. So whether you use like the whiskey or something else to build have a fire
That's
going.
like a 12-hour run, dude.
I think that that's probably something that should be a thought is fire.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're ranking these things, does that mean we're ranking them? I know we're ranking them in importance, but is there some ways to put things aside that need to get taken care of first? Is that what our ranking is? Like you need to get the
We
food
just play
out
grab
because
like, pick the one
so,
yellow frisbee that's the most important. I mean, because trying to go
well,
like on a 4-day trip, 60 miles, like
that's not what I was
that
asking.
doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Yeah.
what I was trying to say was that you're ranking in order of importance, but because of the weather, the rain, and you never know they say even this, you get 2 different types of weather in the same day, from wind to rain to sun, whatever, is to try to get certain things taken care of and set up for camp out of the weather, just so that those are taken care of first. And that's why I was thinking, to get the the food, which was my number 3, out of the weather, so to speak, and get things set up. I put the map and the what was the other compass after the first 5, mainly because once you need to get set up and figure out where you're at and what you have available before you worry about where you're going. The compass is more, I thought, to just make sure you understand according to that map where you're at.
Yeah. One thing I thought about with the compass was as long as I had the map, I could probably use the sun to figure out where I was at.
You're talented.
Well, just what the east, west, and north and south were. Obviously I wouldn't always know, but I figured you could probably find a general direction. Not you wouldn't know exactly where you were, but if you were following along, I guess I feel like you'd have a general idea of where you were.
So what's our plan? Are we gonna move? Are we moving? So I mean that's gonna determine like if like what goes where. I mean so
Yeah, I think what we were talking about earlier
from the
was
standpoint or that we're staying, and it's like you're just trying to be like, well, I see this, I see that, but like you actually, if you're the leader, you need to like lay it out for us, dude. Like we're moving, and that's it. You know, like we're not staying. Like all the good people are moving, trying to go get help, and we're leaving everyone else, you know, and for themselves, like you were saying. That's how you think it is out there in the wilderness.
okay. Well, like I know we're.
So
I, f-
are we
I feel
moving? So that way I can kind of get my own input on this, on trying to figure out what it is I need, where I need to rank, so I can have input on the group ranking.
yeah, I feel like the first priority, like what I think, well, I agree a lot with what Jacqueline said, was that our first priority is to make sure we have a campsite, that we have someplace safe where we can, set up a shelter, even if we decide to leave or not. Because I don't know, I'm of the mindset that we should first, set up camp and then set out with those two people, either two or three people to go and get help. That's sort of the mindset I have at this point. Is just first set up the camp and make sure those people we have a place that's safe from the weather, and then we can set out. If
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so I think that would be probably the best bet. Then I guess if it's all just putting us in that scenario, if we were there, then I mean, I guess I would be like, okay, since I kind of have read the book about it, and maybe I guess I kind of can say, okay, I have been through this, but even though I really haven't, um, so I would be like, all right, well then, just depending on who's like fittest, you know, physically fit, who would go, and there's a lot of variables, and so I see waiting the 6 days doesn't get anyone any return. So I mean, it's all right. We'll set camp up like you're saying, like Darren's saying, set camp up, and then send like two people, and then leave another person and let the two people go off by themselves. So like, if, just so that way there's someone else extra back camp.
Yeah, I agree with that. So with that idea in mind, I guess what would we say is the first? I guess what would be our first priority for what we need for the campsite we're going to set up. So like I know duct tape was a huge contender for that, and matches. I feel like those two were the two big ones, for our campsite. So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts? Which one would be first or second or maybe third?
Probably having a shelter, I guess, maybe first. So I think most important with that would probably be duct tape, maybe the parachute cord.
What about the fishing poles? I didn't think about using them for setting up a tent.
Possible. I just don't know if we have anything to put over the top of them. Otherwise, I would.
How picky, how flexible are these people?
Well, we don't know.
Is it us? So we're in there. Okay, so who's really picky about where they sleep?
I don't think it's more where, but depending on the weather, because it says it's supposed to rain that night. So we need to, if there was something to
like probably
protect us.
So the flotation devices, are we putting those on? Okay, so we have canoes, and then the flotation devices are the chest vest. So we can use the canoes as shelter then, right? So,
I think so.
don't you need a fire? You need a fire, but I don't. Maybe you need the duct tape. Is A1? Right now we're fixing or the roof. I guess if we're gonna have it as a shelter. So I mean, duct tape. Then if like that's like where we want to lean to, duct tape. I don't see it, but I'll go with it. I don't see it. But I mean, maybe we can put it over someone's mouth and be like, "All right, enough of you talk." You know? So I guess put duct tape one. Like I don't. I'll put it. So are we gonna put duct tape as one, and then like matches as two, and then just because we're not gonna use pellets, like we can't carry pellets or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely like that idea because duct tape we can, use to, put any two different items together for a shelter, and then matches to then just start the fire. Like those are just two important things for a campsite. Does everyone agree with that? Like
Sure.
duct tape is first, and then matches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know it was mentioned about the parachute cord as well that we could use as part of our shelter. Would that be something we'd consider next, or was there something else that would come more to mind?
Maybe the sleeping bags, if that's something that people see as more important. I could see either one of them being equally important in making or having somewhere nice to be dry or something as you sleep.
Yeah, I agree with that. With the sleeping bags, just having somewhere dry to sleep.
What about the food? Wouldn't that be a priority to make sure that that's all taken care of and set aside?
Fishing pole.
The food, fanny pack.
When I saw the fanny pack of food, I figured it was like not very much food. So I figured maybe it was not as important. I mean, I have it as number 5 on my thing. So it was kind of important. I just wasn't sure how much it actually was. I didn't even realize it was 6 people. Like that totally skipped my head. So I don't know how long that would actually sustain anybody. So I mean, obviously I'd want to keep it safe. It's probably more of a last resort kind of a thing.
So would we want to start talking about, I guess next in priority would be like food and water then? So like the next would be like 3 and 4.
Did you get the rope in there? Is the rope number 4?
So so we have duct tape is 1 and matches is 2?
Yes. So we're looking at number 3. That could be like either food, water, or I guess what was the third one we were talking about? Was it no, I think we've
sleeping bags.
Oh yeah, sleeping bags. Yeah.
What I was thinking about the clothes and the sleeping bags, trying to make sure that they're, since like I keep bringing up, is the weather is so changeable, that somehow get them into a better place so that at least they can start drying out or be out of the weather at least. So I didn't know if we would think of, that's why I was asking the other questions, to think about what's important first to get things set up before we worry about the others, like the food, the sleeping bags, and the flotation devices. I'm not sure how we'd use those, except to send people off. But
yeah.
Oh, and the set of wet clothes. That's what I was looking for. Because you have the set of wet clothes, the sleeping bags. You want to make sure, and the food, make sure that they're out of the weather and protect them somehow. I don't know what kind of campsite this being set up, or maybe even put them underneath the one canoe that you're not going to take, but set that stuff underneath to protect it from any additional rain.
I'm okay with making those 3, 4, and 5 if you want to, whatever order. Just like which one? We're talking about the sleeping bags, the clothes, and the food.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
3 on the food, 4 on sleeping bags, and 5 on the clothes. Does that sound like a good?
Yeah, I definitely like that order for those 3. What does everyone else think?
Yeah, I didn't even think about this. More about thinking about like how I had my train of thought.
Pardon? So we're saying 3 for the food, 4 for the sleeping bags, and 5 for the clothes?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. So what's the,
All right, so after that, I feel like the next thing that would be the most important would just be the water purification tablets, just so then you can have water. I just feel like that's the next big thing that we would need.
I was thinking about what Travis said about being careful with that kind of stuff because you have the matches and somehow, of course, I was thinking about the frisbee in this respect is I don't know if you could what it's made of, but putting the water in the frisbee and kind of boiling it, or I don't know what you'd boil water in, but there might be something that you could boil water in. That's
I just had that thought. I was like, I don't know if we have any containers of any kind. We may not. So,
what is it?
so we may have to put the water in the frisbee and then purify it with the tablets because it wouldn't boil in there. So that may be something. I think the frisbee probably has some weird thing that the expert's going to be like, oh, the frisbee is like the most important part, and it's going to be something like that. But, so there may be something weird like that. So if we want to say that, I'm totally cool with using them. Like they're just poisonous if you don't wait long enough before you use them, and it's like an hour or something like that you have to wait. So I would stay away from them. But if I didn't have anything else, like if I didn't have a pot to boil water in, then I guess that's probably next most important is to be able to purify water. But
I wonder if we should worry about the maps and the flotation. Let's see, we have the maps and the flotation, and I'm not sure what the parachute cord was. 35, is that 35 feet? Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be all.
And for shelter.
Yeah, for shelter. Maybe the map to get a bearing on where we're at since we started some of this pretty much setting up camp, but maybe the parachute cord and the map and the
even if we didn't do a long trip, we may want the map just to search around for other areas where there might be people. So like do short trips out to see. So it might be good to have that just in case for that too, just so you can kind of, walk an hour or two out and then be able to make it your way back. So we should probably, I guess we should probably do water next and then maybe
I agree with the water for sure.
So the water tablets.
Yeah.
We're on 6, right?
Are we assuming we don't have anything to boil the water in?
I was just looking at the write-up just to see.
Yeah, I don't see any unless the whiskey pint would be the only thing I could think of that we'd have something to boil water in.
Dump that out.
It might break if you
Yeah.
You probably use the pellet.
All right, we can use the pellets. That's fine. I'll give it. I think that maybe those should be 6 and 7 then. The frisbee and the tablets then, I guess. 6 tablets, 7 frisbee.
Oops.
If that's what we're gonna use.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Does everyone else agree with that?
Whoops.
I'm good with whatever we choose. I want to live.
Yeah.
Same.
That's why we're gonna send out 2 people to save us. Maybe. Anyway, I know the scenario is not concrete, but it's just good to discuss.
So then I know Danny said the whiskey was pretty important. Was that for medicine? Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, like I don't know, if, like guy with a broken leg, or maybe like they just couldn't handle like stuff emotionally in the first time. I was like, let's just combat whatever's going on.
Get down to keep the pain.
But I don't know about that. Just it's like a mutual like group thing. You guys met on the app, and it's like okay, like. Let's go hiking and everyone gets hurt, then I don't think whiskey would really be priority. I don't know, wherever that would fall. probably just go lost. You know, like it just on the trip, or I don't know, whatever reasons.
I was thinking back in the old Wild West days that they would use the whiskey for infection or to clean the cut or whatever to help it. Because I'm sure there's a lot of dirt and debris in there, especially a broken leg.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I guess it depends on if the leg comes through the skin or not, which
They didn't say.
But I was thinking maybe with fire too, it would help. That the insect repellent could probably help start a fire too. If that was important.
Think about that.
I don't know if we're that worried about insect repellent if we're just trying to basically survive. But
That's
but
true.
it could be. I mean, it could be important. The mosquitoes are pretty big up there, so I don't know. If we're afraid of disease over 7 days or whatever it's going to be.
What did we decide on the flotation devices? Were they?
If we're not going to travel, I don't think they're important as far as like.
I thought we were going to travel, or two of us.
Yeah, 2 people will be traveling, but 4 people will be staying.
Okay, I think then they probably are pretty important. Just even if because they're going to at least have to swim or skirt their way around some water. So.
Okay, so we're at number 7 then. So would we want
What was
to?
6?
Yeah, because we did 6 water purification tablets.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if we should move this flotation devices up first, but that's okay. Okay.
Yeah, because like the goal we're going with first in the beginning was to make sure we had a secure campsite before we set 2 people out on their own. So, so number 7 then, like, I guess this would be about the time that we'd start, planning for these 2 people. No, I feel like first we should worry about the person with the broken leg. Should we get the fishing poles to make that stint for the guy with the broken leg? I feel like that should be our first thing before we worry about people going anywhere.
So, yellow frisbee 8 to 7.
I was wondering. I'm trying to think. There's flotation devices that we send off too. Could some of those be used to help pad the broken leg? I'm trying to picture. It's a vest, but
That it may help support it. I don't know.
with the fishing poles and the duct tape and the flotation devices.
Yeah, I'd say that would work. Yeah, because you can have the fishing pole, first wrap it with the fishing poles and then put the flotation device on it as like a pad where you can use it to lay on or have it, just so you can at least be comfortable. But I would feel like the fishing poles would be a higher priority than the flotation device at that point.
So that would be 7.
Yeah, the fishing poles.
Are we all in agreement?
Water purification.
I think that if we don't have anything else to put water in, I think that the frisbee was the way to keep the water in something. So I think that was 7. But if we are assuming we have something else to keep water in, then yes, I'm okay with putting the fishing pole 7.
Yeah, I think we should just assume we have something else to keep water in.
That's fine with me. I'd rather do it that way anyway. Okay, so 7 is the fishing poles?
Yes.
Okay, and then do we want to do the flotation devices at 8, or do we want to do parachute cord at 8 to help keep it tied out?
Yeah, I think probably the parachute cord first and then the flotation device. Because we can use the parachute cord as part of like the shelter.
Okay, so parachute cord 8, is that good?
I think so.
Okay. Then we'll
I
do
know this
the
isn't rocket science, but I like our discussion.
Yeah, I agree. There's like so many different ways, like how you can like explain how one item could be more useful than another. That's what makes this so interesting.
And the expert's going to have something real specific for each one, and it's going to make it seem silly that we, decided that we wanted this or that.
Right.
That's true.
So did that make it the map? And for those who are not direction oriented, the compass.
Yeah, like I would say definitely the map first before the compass.
Of course.
Like,
Okay, so 9 was the flotation device. Is that what? Did we say
oh
that?
yeah. Was everyone in agreement with that? The flotation devices with 9, or
I think. Danny, what do you think?
With the group,
Yes.
if you guys want to do that, then I'm fine with it. Like I said, I don't have anything to back up myself on. I mean, I've taken that step back, and like I said, I want to live. So I'm gonna go with the compass. I'm not gonna rebel and try to steer off.
Okay. So that the
I'm
map
stuck
was
at.
10.
I'm still at fishing pole 7, and that there's other stuff that we can put water in, and then from there, I heard you guys rambling on. And talk about it.
oh yeah, so we did number 8. We did parachute cord. That would be another item we could use for the shelter, and then we had the flotation devices as number 9.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
the map.
so like,
Go ahead.
oh sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying the map was 10. Is that what we decided?
Yeah, I feel like that's what we decided. That map would come first.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 left.
All right, so would we feel like? I feel like the next 2 items that would be important to talk about would be the compass or the whiskey. Because I feel like the compass and the map have to be close together, not far apart in priority. But whiskey could be used to help our friend who's got a broken leg, but we don't know if he has an infection or not, or a possible infection.
Yeah, especially since he's going to be there for several days. You have to keep that in hand just in case.
Yeah.
Didn't hurt me, so I mean,
Hmm.
I guess at this point I wouldn't care about the whiskey just because I'm not sure. Like, not
Okay.
really on the priority of our list. I mean, how bad is his leg?
So
So then we probably put the compass next. Then we can just put the whiskey after that.
okay. Wait a minute. Let's see, 10, 11.
11, and then whiskey would be, I guess, 12 then.
I think so.
All right. All right. Last 2 items: insect repellent or yellow frisbee. I guess which I know none of us have really highly valued the frisbee. Do you think we just want to put that one last and then put insect repellent higher priority than that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm good. So 13 is it.
So,
So just, you want to, Darren, can you run down so that we're all on the same page what our rankings are?
Mm-hmm.
Starting with the fanny pack. Make sure I wrote them down right. Just go down the list.
Okay. All right. So starting from the top with fanny pack, we have group ranking for 3. Plastic covering map of the region, 10. 6 personal flotation devices, 9. 2 fishing poles, 7.
Oh,
Oh,
what'd you say? 9? What? 9 was the flotation devices,
yeah, yes.
and 7 the fishing poles. Okay, sorry.
No, you're fine. You can if you guys need me to stop, just please tell me. Like, I will stop and clarify it. So next one is set of clothes for 3. we set 5. Then 1 yellow frisbee, 14. Water purification tablets, 6. Duct tape is 1. Whiskey is 12. Insect repellent is 13. Matches are 2. Parachute cord is 8. And compass is 11. And sleeping bags are 4.
Okay.
Does everyone have that?
I think so.
Okay.
Can you go back from the insect repellent?
I'll start at
Yeah,
insect. All right. Yeah, I'll start back at insect repellent. So insect repellent is 13. And then matches are 2. With the parachute cord as 8. The compass is 11. And the sleeping bags are 4. Is there anything
water
that?
purification tablets were 6, right?
Yes. Is there any one I should go over again?
I'm good.
I'm good.
All right. You good as well, Danny?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. All right, I'm gonna start introducing the expert ratings.
Okay.
And all right, so for the background of these 2 experts, so these are both people who have been guides for canoe trips for this region. So both these experts went through this scenario, and they decided that because that they agreed that the best course of action for the group was to repair one of the canoes and send 2 of the most experienced and least injured people to paddle to a road and get to Grand Marias for help. Because as search party would not even leave for at least 5 days and might not find the group for a couple days more, this would cause severe hardship on the group, particularly the one with the broken leg. Food is down and there is minimum protection from rain and cold since the tent and tarps were lost. Cold and rainy weather at this time of year is life-threatening. The group must get help as soon as possible. It is estimated that the group of 2 would move faster than if everyone went along, and they could get to help within one day. Wow, that's fast. Then a helicopter would come save them. All right, so it seemed like they set their priority that the first was to go get help, and then in order to do this, they set out these rankings. So for ranking number 1 for the expert ranking was duct tape.
Yeah.
So we got that one. This next one might surprise all of us, but it's the personal flotation devices was number 2.
You want to read what the reasoning is?
Yep. So the reasoning for this useful mostly because they help keep the body where they can be worn as vest to keep the
body warm.
there's a lot of spelling errors in this. Sorry.
Yeah.
Help keep the body warm. They can be worn as vests to keep the torso warm, or used as used to sit or as pillows. So right now their clothes are wet, and even if the flotation devices are wet, they'll still provide warmth. Oh, I didn't know that. All right, so the third one is a map of the area. And
I printed it out too without trying to read.
Oh, sorry. Do you need me to repeat anything?
No, it was interesting. If you want to read what their thinking is, it's very interesting reading. I printed it out this morning. I'm looking at it as Darren reads.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And if anyone wants me to stop and clarify about the description about these things, please feel free to ask, because it's a lot of interesting stuff. So we have the map of the area is number 3, the plastic covered map. And then number 4 is sleeping bags. That's what we had as a group as well. And then matches was number 5. And then we had food, so the fanny pack of food was set as number 6. The clothes, so the wet clothes were set as number 7. The set of clothes for 3, 7. Then the number 8 was the 2 fishing poles that were broken. Number 9 is the parachute cord. Number 10 is insect repellent. And number 11 is the water purification tablets. Number 12 was the yellow frisbee. Number 13 was the compass, with whiskey being number 14. All right, so I guess after I went through that list, the ones where we had drastically different was where we put like the map, definitely the flotation device. That was one we didn't even think of putting that high of a priority for at all. But the ones that we had really close, like all the other ones were like pretty close within them, like maybe 2 or 3 apart for all the other ones.
Yeah, I think probably because we didn't put the flotation devices and the map first ahead of them. It's kind of where we went sideways, according to the experts anyway. We're pretty close on a lot of them.
Yeah, that's true. And like I didn't even, especially the flotation device, I didn't even know that was something that could keep you warm. Because if I knew that, I probably would have prioritized it higher. Staying warm is important.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Travis and Danny, have you looked at the agenda, printed out, or looked at see what I printed out just to see what the experts had to say. It's pretty interesting. They're right up in the reasoning behind it.
No, I didn't even know they had it. I mean, I would have read it.
Yeah, if you click on the you see where'd it come from, Darren?
Yeah, so it's part of the group discussion agenda. So
yeah,
it's you in lesson 10 when you click the let me see what you have to click on the
actually I printed that out. Case study activity, and then you go inside it and there's a group discussion agenda. That'll help you understand what
is it possible to get a -1 on this? Negative numbers.
Let's say, well,
like what do you mean like a -1
from C to D, like, or is it just all
C minus D? Yeah, because it would be -3.
Because I got like on one of them 7, 8 CD.
Mm-hmm.
Would I put that as a -1 or no? Or just the difference of 1?
So B minus D. Yeah, if
C.
they go B minus D, so C minus, or B minus 3 minus. Yeah, because it has to be negative. 3 minus, or the number you're ranking -6. But it could be -3, so 3 minus 6 would be a -3 if I understand that correctly. Is that correct? Doing the group error, that'd be a way to figure too.
Yeah, so the way it's suggested that you do it, so you don't put any negative numbers, you just put a positive of how far away you were from it. You don't put any negatives.
Okay, negatives, okay.
I'll do it like that.
So we just subtract the numbers and then
Just do whatever the difference is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I actually have to get going. Is there anything else that I have to know, or nothing?
All that it asks is that every group member should go through the numbers, finalize them, and you can email them I believe you can email them to me because I'm supposed to know like who had the best member score, the lowest individual score, and then I find the person who had the best, I guess, persuasion score, and then we can and then I'll just add that to our report as part of this discussion.
Okay, so we need to do the subtractions, and if they have to leave, then we should attach our wilderness survival activity to send to you to put it on the wilderness discussion board.
Yeah, I'll post it all on the discussion board, so I'll take everybody's information and I'll mention who had the best, who had all the different scores in the categories, and yeah, so all of this you'll be able to find it on the group discussion if you want to go look at it.
Cool.
Later.
I will do it and get it sent to you quick.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay, so.
All right, I'm out. So I'll see you guys next week.
Sounds good. See you next week, Travis.
Bye, Travis.
Bye.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start doing mine. So whenever you want, we can end this conference call, and then I'll post everything on the discussion board.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
so
Well,
then just send it to you separately.
I'm gonna get some errands done for my mom and stuff.
Okay.
um,
Is that nice?
Alrighty.
Yeah. All right. Bye, Danny.
bye, Danny.
Yeah. Darren.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're just going to go ahead and do the subtraction and send you our sheet. Is that what you're doing? Or what?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. And the things that Jordan didn't send, but she can compare her stuff. Okay. I guess we also maybe should send out an email and ask everybody about who's going to host the next three. I can do that. I'll send out an email and ask everybody who, based on Sister McHenry's last announcement, that we'll need to get people lined up for the next 3 meetings. 3. But that's something in further. Okay, well, I'll get my stuff to you as soon as I finish it so that you can at least get started on that.
Yeah, sounds great. I'll definitely appreciate that.
All right. Well, thank you, Darren, for your hard work on this. This is kind of a different type of assignment, but anyway, I appreciate it.
Hey, you're welcome. I definitely loved the group participation and all the insight you gave into our discussion.
Well, thank you. And it's an interesting, different people's thoughts on variables and stuff like that. There's a lot to think about, and then reading it'll be very helpful to those who haven't, is to read what the experts' thinking was and why they ranked it the way it did, which I thought would be great.
Yeah,
So.
I agree.
All righty. Well, I don't want to keep you, and I will get my stuff to you shortly.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Darren. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.